Test. Test.
Yep, you're good. Whenever you're ready.
All right. The time is 5 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Please rise for the pledge. Dr. J, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting was called, this meeting was called for one action item, which is the personnel action report. The employee that was in question is on the personnel action report, but he has resigned from his instructional position and as coach of the baseball team. Are there any comments or questions regarding the personnel report?
I just have some things I just wanted to say for the sake of transparency. Because when I had my phone call with you about the coach position and how it was filled, I'm sure there were people in your office that were hearing your side of the phone conversation, and I did not appreciate you saying that it sounded like I was telling you to hire someone based on my recommendation. And so I just wanted to go over the things I said, because I never once told you to hire this person or even recommended this person. I simply asked questions. So the first call that I received from you was just to notify me of what had happened, and it was kind of all bad news. It was that the coach, we had lost our coach, and so now we had canceled practice, and we weren't sure about the rest of the season. Then later, while I was walking into another meeting, I received a call from a community member. It was probably a little bit before 5 p.m., who was involved in local baseball, who notified me that there's someone currently volunteering with the middle school baseball team who wanted to know what they could do to keep practice going and keep the season going for these boys. I immediately tried to call you on all 3 numbers that I have for you. When I couldn't get a hold of you, I called Evelyn. Well, I texted Evelyn and said, "Kid, can you give me a call if you have a chance? It's about the baseball coach and how we can keep this going." So she gave me a call. When I told her that I wasn't sure if this person was an official volunteer or not, because that was how I was told, she said that this person was brought on by Mike to potentially take his position if he was to leave. So that was like, oh, perfect. Then he's kind of already maybe going through the process needed to keep this going. And then she told me that she was going to be meeting with someone, a district employee that could possibly cover this position. And I just asked her to keep me updated. Then my next call was to you on Friday afternoon to find out what had happened. You let me know we had hired our counselor, which I said was great. I asked about his experience and then asked why we had hired him over this other person who was already involved. You told me it was best someone who knew that our kids was going to be better for the kids. Then I said we could argue, or the argument could be made, that someone who's already working with the team would be exactly that best person, especially given that the counselor is also a new hire of only, I think, a few months. Then you gave me a few other reasons that I didn't necessarily feel were valid. You said that it sounded like I wanted you to rush the process, and I said I didn't ask you to skip the process. This person should still go through every step to become the head coach, but they were willing to do it, and that was a big thing. If we have a community member willing to take those steps to take over for this need for our students, that's huge. And especially when a lot of our issues in the district is that we ask people to cover more than one position, and so now asking our counselor to be a coach might be a lot on him. And then you did tell me that the best option for us, since we did need a district employee there, was to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and have the head coach be a district employee. I said that was acceptable, and then you also said that in order to hire this other person, we would have needed to open the position and have other applicants, and that would draw out the rest of the season. And I said that was an acceptable answer. So I didn't appreciate, I won't call it an accusation because I think you know me better than that, but I didn't appreciate that being said because I understand that could absolutely be taken out of context So I just wanted to make my side of the conversation public because I felt that I never used the word recommend, and I never once said you should hire this person. I simply asked the questions as to the process because I knew we were moving quickly either way, whether it was with the counselor or this other person. So I just wanted to make sure we were truly doing what was best for the students and not just, moving quickly. Thank you.
Can I rebut that?
Absolutely.
So, what I shared on the phone was that we cannot make exceptions to our process and our procedures based on who the candidate is or who's interested in a position. I said that if we open the position up, we need to go through a process like we would any other hire. That means that Kaylee's got to post the job. That means that the job has to sit for a certain amount of time. We have to put together a committee. We have to interview. And by the time we do all that, the season will be over. Okay? So that's what I shared. I said in order to keep the season going, we have a counselor who's willing to do it. I knew that this candidate would continue to help. I spoke to the candidate on the phone. I told him what was going on. He was very understanding, understood the process, understood the situation. And it was an ability to get someone out there who is certified, who is a district employee, to make sure that things are done the right way. And then if this candidate wants to apply for the job when it opens, they're welcome to. But you have to have a fingerprint clearance card, you have to have a background check. Those things aren't done. And those take at least, I would say, a month to get in, and the season is over. When I explained all that, the reason what I said back was, you weren't accepting my response and my answer. And I said, it is getting to a point where I feel it's inappropriate that you're asking me to not follow procedure, not follow policy, and to make an exception for this position, which I will not do.
Okay,
And then I said that we're going to put it to the board to decide that we're going to put the counselor in that position to fill the role, not as coach, but to fill the role and duties while we figure out what we're going to do with the position. And then at that point, I said, I said specifically, let's keep the conversation positive, let's move on to other things, and we did, and we ended the conversation.
I
So,
understand,
yes.
but I never once asked you to go around policy. I understood what was needed. I told this person when I spoke to them that I knew at the very least a fingerprint clearance card was necessary and a background check was necessary. They already had a background check. They knew people that could get them their fingerprint clearance card process started, and they were on the way to do it that night because it was that important to them. So I simply was telling you what I knew as a conduit with our community members, and that's why I didn't appreciate being treated like I was doing some kind of pressure. I never asked you to skip the process. I said it's going to have to be brought to the board, whether it's the counselor or this person. They need to go through an interview, whether it's the counselor or this person. They need to have all of the steps checked either way.
And I'm not, all I'm saying is that the way I felt in the call was that I gave you the solution that we as a team came up with, that I feel is the best decision to keep these kids moving forward, to make sure that we have a certified person out there who is very well liked in the school community, will do a great job for a couple of weeks with the help of the volunteer assistants. And what I got back, in my opinion, was a perception of that was not okay and that this other person needed to have the job. And I said,
I'm
I
going to call
didn't
for
think-
the motion.
No, I'm going to say one last thing, because the way the conversation ended was I said, as I understand it, we need to hire a district employee. That's killing two birds with one stone. I can accept that. And then I said, I can accept that we would need to open the position, that was the one policy that I did not know that we didn't get to until the end of the conversation, that I said that's an acceptable reason for overlooking someone who's already involved with the team. I'm not trying to make this contentious. I just didn't appreciate that there's going to be people in your office that heard you say, Madison, it sounds like you're telling me to hire someone based off your recommendation, because I did absolutely not do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Do I have a motion on the personnel report?
I move we approve the personnel report.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Did you vote?
I did not. I had a point of clarification.
I'm sorry,
that
go
I wanted
ahead.
to ask. Is the person that we've hired to replace for the baseball coach, is he a full-time district employee or is he a contract employee?
For the coaching, he'll be our coach. So his contracted has nothing to do with our coaching. So
But he is actually not hired by the district for
Yes.
his,
So for coaching.
okay, then my vote is no.
So I have 3-1. The motion carries. With that, that's the end of the, that's the only item we had, so.
I move we adjourn.
I second. All in favor?
I don't think we actually, did we vote aye?